Buongiorno, we have quite a treat for you. We're going to go to the hidden city underneath the city of Catania. It was the Roman amphitheater, the Colosseum, that entertained the Catanesi for a long time. We have a first-time view. It just recently opened. Have a brief history, we'll walk around, and later a glimpse at the market. And we have reasons why you should visit Catania and hopefully put it on your list when coming to Sicily. Here's the Amphitheatre of Catania. Imagine this is 2,000 years old. And some of you guys may wonder, why wasn't this open to the public? Well, because they were trying to make sure that it was stable, because we're going to be walking underneath the city.
These are, well, they look like seats, but in reality we have to dig. That's what we are. And the ring is pretty large, because now if you walk back to the exit, you walk backwards, you're going to get practically by the end of the ring. And it's pretty large,
48,000 people.
Yes. That's the story.
Normally we could only come over here
Oh, so this is
and look at this
that's where we were before.
from above.
Right.
And over here is a street that leads to a street parallel to the Etnea.
And that's the street of the churches. It's Via Crociferi. And now we're going to go to the second layer, to the right.
Built this here in Catania.
It was built on this side of the town because this was the outskirts. And
But why Catania?
Catania became the most powerful Roman town from Octavian Augustus on. The power was taken off Siracusa, defeated by the Romans after the Second Punic War, and the first emperor decided to move the power to the town of Catania on the east side of the island.
At a certain point, Catania became an incredibly important city. And that's why Augustus, in the first century, decided to build this. It's incredible. At the beginning of the 18th century, this amphitheater was completely buried. Can you imagine that? And there were actually some doubts that this even existed. But then you had the Prince of Sicily around the 1700s. He accidentally discovered part of these corridors here, and that's when he decided that in order to make them accessible, that he would build an entrance located at the very center.
This is surrendering because he had been wounded. Our town 9 times. 4 earthquakes, lava flows, enemies destroying the town. This building is here is a miracle because it was not affected by the earthquake or by the rest of this. During a field trip, some kids and the teacher got lost in the labyrinths of the amphitheater, and they're still here calling for some help. The legend says.
The legend says.
But it was a reason for keeping people off because they got lost. There were too many corridors which had to be locked after. And consider this was the bomb shelter in 1943 for the Sicilians. Non so, poi sei uscito dall'altra parte.
Parts of this as well, some of the remains from this theater were used for the cathedral, the Duomo of Catania. Now here's something interesting. This Colosseum, believe it or not, was used during World War II for people to hide in as sort of a shelter.
The church on top, the aristocrats building on the other side, and the walkway before.
First of all, Juicy, great to see you. And today we did something new in Catania, and that is go to the Colosseum. Incredible.
Right. Oh yes, we got one of the largest Colosseums of the Roman times. Why not to explore it? And it's something very different.
And why did the people build on top of it in the first place?
Because at a certain point, as the Normans exploited the stones and they moved the major part of the lava stones blocks of the amphitheater to the square where we got the cathedral now by building the cathedral, at a certain point what was left was the bottom, and it didn't look like an amphitheater. And by rebuilding the town after the earthquakes, they decided to cover all and to build the new town on top for a large square against the earthquakes.
And how was it discovered?
By accident, as usual, because they were digging the ground in order to put the gas pipes for the public light system, late 1800s, and by digging they uncovered it again.
And was it built
It was the first century before Christ.
By
Augustus. What is crazy is that it was covered on 1700s and uncovered almost 200 years after. But in between, the archaeologists started by considering the ancient buildings as worthy and was part of our history. So what was covered before was uncovered after. So the crazy story of the locals, doing and undoing things, right?
And today we are in Syracuse, home to another beautiful theater. And here's our guide, Natali. Buongiorno again. You've seen him on our videos before. So, which one is the biggest theater? The one in Catania?
No, the first one, it's Colosseum in Rome, by the way, if you know, 50,000 spectators. Follow Capua, close to Napoli, more or less 40,000, more or less in the same place is the one, Syracuse and Catania, with 15 to 20,000 spectators can get inside. We have two much more amphitheater around Italy, like Vella, like other places, that this is the site, about 18-20,000. But that of Catania, it's not larger than the one that we have in Syracuse, because never forget, Syracuse, the Spaniards took block of stones to build a protection of island Ortigia, and we have only the Ima Cavia, the below part, okay, of this amphitheater. We have Greek theater and Roman amphitheater. Theater half circle for performance, tragedy, comedies. Amphitheater, ludi gladiatori, gladiator, fight. Ludi venazione, fight against animals. Ludi circenses, the race of the chariots. Ben Hur, it's an example. Or naumachia, special battles in water. Never the same. Greek, it's theater, Roman amphitheater for this kind of games. Okay?
Grazie mille, come sempre.
Prego.
tavolo 500 euro.
Yum.
The kiwi.
Cauliflower.
Oh, look at the color of the cauliflower.
Chiama?
Cucuzza longa.
Cucuzza lungo.
Cucuzza longa. Si fa a zucchina lunga, si fa questa a minestra.
E poi ci si fa queste
pomodoro.
Che taglia la cucuzza?
È ottima.
Se fanno quelli che taglia la cucuzza. Cucuzza catanese bastardi.
Bastardi, catanese e
Come una
italiano.
frutta italiano caofiore.
We're getting a
In
lesson.
dialetto bastardi, brutta parola, però si dice in dialetto così.
Ma anche c'è fico di India bastardi.
Sì, quelli si chiamano bastardoni.
Bastardoni
Quelli
with
si
the
chiamano
prickly
bastardoni.
bears.
Fichi d'India, sì, seta, no? Di seta.
Come? Melenzana?
Di seta. Seta.
Seta. Silk melenzane.
Quella melenzana lunga, melenzana normale.
Normale.
Normale, melenzana normale. Turca non c'è.
Caccioli.
Non è periodo d'estate.
Cacoccioli.
Questi cacoccioli.
In siciliano.
Perché ci vuole non si chiama melenzana? Mulingiano.
Molingiana,
Now they're Mulingiana. Now
Melenzana in italiano,
Mulingiana is how
Mulingiana in
Alfred calls
dialetto.
it. That's the way his grandparents
No,
called
guarda chi
it.
se ne
Invece questa è fava.
Chi se si ha fava,
Faviano.
Faviana.
fava.
Siciliano?
Faviana, fava.
E pomodoro?
Quello è il pomodoro. In italiano pomodoro, in dialetto pomodoro.
Amunini.
Amunini a casa, va.
Amuni, let's go to the home.
Ciao.
Ciao. Those guys are so great. They're so willing to tell me what each thing was in Sicilian, but more excited about talking about how to eat it.
Dice esattamente 100.000 visualizzazioni, 100.150.
Look at all the nonnas. Look at the size of these peppers. Oh my gosh. I do have to tell you, it's really sad that the fishermen were telling me that they're being forced out because of the shops and also because it's a little bit too expensive to go fishing because of the cost of the fuel. When we used to come here, it used to be very, very robust. Still a spectacle, but not as much as before. Up top, all these new restaurants opened up. We're gonna go back to downtown Catania in just a second, but first, I wanted to show you the scene here on Palm Sunday, April 13th. Glorious day here in Sicily. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and Alfred's heart for watching our videos, being a part of our community, continuing to watch if you're still watching. And perhaps if you could, become a member of our community for $1.99 or $2.99. You help support this channel so we can continue bringing you scenes like this. Have a blessed and beautiful Palm Sunday. I'm going down to Amphitheatre to see what the scene is like. We'll probably have something on our community a little bit later on. God bless. Why should you visit the city of Catania? We have a list that should persuade you. Juicy, people usually come to Catania just to use the airport, but we've been grateful here to Catania because it's such an eclectic and spirited city. Why Catania? Why should people come to Catania?
There are so many things to do. From the archaeology, we got an amphitheater and a great Greco-Roman theater within a 1700s buildings, some Roman baths. We got some lava tubes from the lava flows and this strange story of the eruption in Mount Etna in the town. You got the food market. You got a museum on the war. You can do whatever you want here.
Teatro Massimo.
Oh, there's the opera house as well. Of course, it's the top of my list, but I always forget it.
From street to street, you can see a cathedral that was built.
Oh, that's the Baroque aspect, okay? And the Baroque time for us is the starting over. It's the 1700s. But all people think that it's only made of churches. Oh, it's a Baroque town and you got all the churches and nothing else. No, we got the churches. We got crazy stories about the nuns and the monasteries. We got, as I said, a lot of food, okay? We talk about the nuns, the monks and the rice balls. We talk about the gelatis and the monks, or the granitas and the monks. So it's a mixture of different experiences, which is exactly corresponding to the temper people of Catania got. Hyperactive somehow. Or maybe yelling some other times.
Oh, of course, and then we had the Festa di San Agata.
Oh, yes. Then we got the tradition with the religion, the religious festival and the procession. But don't expect us to be all saints or to be so devoted and to go to the church every week. Oh, no. We get devoted, we turn into devoted people when it's the feast of Saint Agatha.
February 4th and 5th, and then basta.
3 days and then basta, and then we stop. 3 days is more than enough for the whole year round, right? And we do crazy with the feast of Saint Agatha because, in spite of that, there's the ancient tradition of the goddesses, well, let's say that it's the evidence of what we are, a mixture. I like to say a melting pot or a cocktail, but it's just what the Sicilians are. 18 different people put together, and if you come to the town, you'll see what we do.
I love that. E mandola.
Mandorla, sì. E la panna, Guarda la panna, guarda. Che bellezza.
That's how you do it, right there. Look how beautiful that is. Grazie. How beautiful she is.
Oh, we're gonna have that next time.
That's the way you do it, right here. Thank you for watching this video. If you're watching on Sunday, Buona Domenica. And of course, we have so many more videos from all over Sicily. There's a playlist called Explore Sicily. It should have it all. See you on another video of you, me, and Sicily. Ciao.